Hey. Hey, brain. What are you doing? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you taking the time out and spending it with your favorite girl. I took a week off last week because I've been super busy with protests and just things in my area, but now I am back and sadder than ever. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been feeling kind of low lately, and I don't think it's tied into any particular one thing or the other, because existing in general is just trash. And normally I will kind of just power through it and pop out on the other side. But instead I figured I'd get in front of a camera and just kind of talk through it in hopes that it'll make me feel better. I wouldn't be able to tell you an exact point in time when my mental health started doing the Cupid shuffle. I had just noticed that I started sleeping way more frequently. Like I'd wake up at noon and it would just be like, what a good day to go right back to sleep. I was the nap queen back then. Like I would only be awake for an hour and then I would nap for 2, awake for an hour, would nap for 2. If I was not working, I was sleeping. I spent 80% of my time asleep. I wasn't too concerned at the time because I was still making an effort to like get out of the house, do my hobbies, see my friends. So I kind of just chalked it up to I'm probably just extra tired because of work, and I didn't really pay it any mind. But a key point to note is how I was handling the challenges of my life back then. Before, when I would get knocked down by life, I ate it, hop back up, ready to get back to it, put me in, coach. And out of nowhere, it was just kind of like I lost steam a little bit. It felt like I would have to come up to one knee first before standing all the way up. And then I would have to hold on to something to pull myself up. And slowly that turned into, me lying on the ground for a minute or two before getting up. And a minute turned into 2, turned into 3 days, weeks before I just stopped getting back up, period. My emotional fortitude had caught the itis or something. And it got to a point where I was just kind of like, death might kind of hit right now. Let me go see what death talking about real quick. And this is not to downplay the gravity of what I went through or what someone else might be going through, but I'm Black, so dealing with trauma through comedy is like kind of ingrained in me at this point. The friends in my life didn't really know what I was going through at that point because I either A, didn't tell them, or B, they gave me a reason to never bring it up again. I would get told to cheer up or pray on it. And let's just pull over, park the car, get out, and sit on the hood. I need those of you who find comfort and happiness in religion to learn how to read the room and figure out if that is a fact that you should keep to yourself. These people have never once seen me don a Sunday hat, utter a prayer, sing a hymn. And I feel like I've also explicitly stated before that I view religion in the same way that I view tea. Plot twist, I hate tea. I'm not finding Jesus anytime soon. Shoot, Jesus gonna have to find me at this point. I don't even leave the house no more. And like, can he bring some serotonin with him? Not all religious people are like that though. Most of you are. So those were the friends, people, because real friends would have known better. Those were the people that I had in my life at that point, so my support system was kind of non-existent. But Temmie, I hear you ask, what about your family? Wouldn't they have wanted to help you through this really tough emotional time in your life? You're funny. I basically had me. We've now reached what was quite possibly the worst year of my entire life, 2018. The phrase, I'm miserable, kept playing in my head over and over again like it was a track. Is you sad? Are you alone? Got nobody in your phone? Nothing was working anymore. Like, I had been diagnosed with depression by a therapist, but I couldn't keep seeing them because I couldn't afford it. Thank you so much, America. It really felt like, you know, when you carrying a whole lot of grocery bags that are clearly way too heavy for you, and like the only thing that's keeping you from dropping the bags is the fact that like your fingers are hooked into them, and the bags are like digging into your skin. So like you let go just a little bit so you can get some sort of relief, and you let go a little more and a little more and a little more, and you are just holding on to these bags for dear life at this point. I got eggs in here. They're very delicate things, just so it all doesn't come crashing down at your feet. And one day I let go. Obviously I survived. Or did I? I'm sure the universe hoped that I would wake up with a new lease on life and appreciation for all the wonderful things that is to come in my future. And instead, what it got was, I'ma do it again. The second attempt was just as big of a fail as the first attempt. It felt like the universe was flicking me in the forehead. So I decided to concede and stay on this ghetto ass planet. I moved out of the apartment that I was sharing with my garbage roommate in order to move back home. I started a new job that I didn't like, but it kept me occupied, and I started to return to some of the old hobbies that I used to find joy in, but there was still this really weird lingering feeling of, while I may not seek out death, if death were to show up, I wouldn't not see what he had to offer. Maybe he got snacks. I like snacks. I stayed ready to get the fuck ASAP. It must be a Gen Z thing. I've never seen a group of kids so ready to die in my entire life. Can't present a group project in front of their class, but can spider monkey on a police officer's back during a protest. I don't get it. But then I met someone who dropped a whole lot of happy in my lap and said, no givesies backsies. So that kind of made me go, I'll stick around for a bit. While I still joke about how I'm ready to be taken out, I just mean it a little less now. It's just, living can be so exhausting. Keep in mind that I am Black, female, LGBT, and fat, and any one of those things could get me killed at any point in time. Intersectionality is jumping me. I don't got time to fear death being all of those things. But being apathetic to that is way cool, because it's kind of like, you have no power here. I came out learning a lot of things. I learned that there is accountability to be had in the way that I behave during one of my depressive episodes, because I tend to get really nasty and irritable. And while I may be going through something, it still doesn't excuse the fact that I am saying rude or hurtful things or lashing out to people that are in my life, and one thing does not excuse the other. I also learned that there are tons of people who will self-diagnose themselves in an effort to minimize your experiences and invalidate your feelings. And for those people, I present a hearty fuck you. If you have not had a professional diagnose you, then I think it's very important to note that everyone can be depressed, but not everyone can have depression, and those are two very distinct things. There's a difference between you feeling super sad about your car breaking down or your girl leaving you versus your brain literally not making the chemical that is required for you to feel happiness. I am so happy to be a part of a generation that is so open and accepting of talking about mental health and therapy. And I think there needs to be more Black faces talking about it, because therapy is a foreign word in the Black community, and it's an unspoken word in the African community. You know, there goes that intersectionality again. Man, forget short end of the stick. I don't even got a stick. I have like a toothpick. This generation is so dedicated to breaking the cycle of trauma caused by our parents, who are products of our grandparents, who are products of their grandparents. White people pass down generational wealth, and Black people pass down generational trauma, which was probably caused by the white people who are passing down generational wealth, but you didn't hear it from me. And please, if you feel like you're in the midst of a crisis, then I really implore you to reach out to one of the hundreds of self-help hotlines. At the risk of sounding like an after school special, there are so many people on this planet and we're so influenced by other people that it's insane. One person influences hundreds, influences thousands, influences millions in this really cool chain and degrees of separation of just positivity and, you know, all of the great things that you put out in the world. And none of that is gonna go right unless you're here. Sorry about it. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I want you guys to comment down below 2 things. One way you've been influenced by somebody you know, and one way you've been influenced by somebody you don't know. As always, my name is Temi, and I'll see you guys next time.